Okay, today we're going to make some tomato sauce using canned tomatoes and a few herbs and onions and so forth, salt and pepper. It's going to be a meatless marinara sauce. So to start, I take some olive oil and about 2 or 3 tablespoons of olive oil and put it in my pot. I like a nice deep pot so that the spaghetti sauce can't splash out while it's cooking. And so then first what we do is start with an onion, and we're going to just chop it up kind of fine so that we can start it cooking. We want to cook the onion until it's just transparent. Brings out the sugars in the onion, and it's going to make it taste a lot better. So we just chop this up kind of roughly. No big, doesn't have to be perfect, but because by the time it gets cooked down you're not going to recognize it anyway. So we start with the onion, and it goes right into the pot. Now the next thing we're going to do is add some garlic, fresh garlic, and this is one thing we don't grow this yet, but a lot of our herbs we do. So you just slam it like that with the edge of the knife. Take your knife and give it a shot, and the paper comes right off it. The only biggest problem with doing this is, for some reason, the chemicals in the garlic react to the chemicals in the onions, and it tears up a little. Okay, chop it fine, just like that. Should do it. Come on, hold still. Always helps to have a nice sharp knife, that's for sure. Let's take a look at the onions. You don't want them to burn, you just want them to sweat out. A little salt and pepper. There you go. We start with the onions first because they're going to be less likely to burn. And the garlic is a little more susceptible to scorching, and scorched garlic does not taste good. So there we go. The garlic. There we go, into the pot. So that was pretty easy. Now, the next thing we're going to do is add some of our other aromatic herbs. This is something we grow in the garden. It's fresh basil. There's a purple and Genovese. And you can dry it, keep it just like that. Then when we're ready to use it, you just crumple it up and pick out the stems. Just set those aside. And in it goes. And that stuff's fairly potent. We've also got some dried oregano. Alright, so I'm adding about a little more basil. It's about a teaspoon of basil and similar amount of oregano. You can add it more or less depending on how you like it. I mean, you might not want any, who knows. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to add a little bit more oil. Okay, so there. Now that we've got that stuff going on there, we add tomato paste right out of the can. And in that goes. So that's going to cook down in the same way that the onions taste better when you cook them down a little bit. So does the tomato paste. a little there. So that's, so we're going to fry that for a while. Now, that's looking pretty good. So now the next thing we do is add some tomatoes. Now we've got canned tomatoes. I've got two kinds here. This is crushed tomatoes. Just going to give it the body, and then we like it a little chunky, so I've got some diced tomatoes right in the can, water and all right in there, and then we mix that all together and incorporate the paste in there. Now that's pretty thick already. Now I think it needs just a little bit of acid, so I'm going to use some wine vinegar. Just a little bit. And we're going to test it again for the sweetness. After I mix that in, I might add a little sugar. Let's see. You know, I think it's got just a little edge, so I'm going to put about a half a teaspoon of turbinado sugar in there. And just like that. And then we'll stir it around. Mix it up. A little more salt. Now, that's good. Now this is going to sit back here and simmer for a while. I could warm it up and eat it just like this, but if it simmers for a while, the flavors of the herbs meld, and it's going to thicken up and get a little more body. So if you want the recipe for this, you can find it on nnwinow.com, and that's it. Thanks for watching.